Hey, 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 hey. What's going on with all of you, huh? What's going on with you? What's going on with you? What's going on with you? I am Big Meach, honey, and this is a Big Meach moment. Now listen, I'm coming before you. I wanted to go live and do this. I was trying to do this. I was thinking about reintroducing the Donut Factory Chronicles, but I decided not to do that. So I came to you live under a Big Meach moment because there's some things that's brewing that I want to raise an issue to. Okay, and I'm not sure if all of you have been paying attention to the news or social media. However, there's some controversy going on with Macy Gray, and along with Macy Gray, Bette Midler of all people. Okay, surrounding comments that they have made, uh, and the alphabet children, particularly the trans children, have decided to make this into an issue. They're saying that Macy Gray has said transphobic slurs, and Bette Midler has done this, that, and the other, which and saying that these folks are transphobic. Okay, and I want to address that issue because I want to put some perspective on it. Okay, and I'm going to start here. This is not going to be likable for many of you who are of the alphabet cluster. However, let's deal with it. First off, I am so fucking tired of us as alphabet children wanting to jump on a bandwagon by saying that this is transphobic, this is homophobic, this is this. We always want to throw the phobia card out there and not look at everything in context and not look at what people are trying to say. See, what I have a problem with too is that we're so busy wanted to fight for our rights and fight for togetherness and fight for this. And we say we celebrate diversity. At the same time, we're not allowing those who live differently than we do to have opinions, to be able to express themselves without it becoming an issue. And now we have a lot of folks who feel as though if they say anything, that we're holding them hostage, okay, as a community. And that there is not fair. That's not fair. That's not fair. That's not fair. Okay, and especially when we're trying to galvanize a populace and say that we need to have that strength in numbers so that we can attack the shit that need to be attacked. Okay, now um, if you had not heard Macy Gray's comments, I want you to go on YouTube and I want you to go and watch it. She's with Piers Morgan in an interview. Okay, and along with that interview, she has expressed a couple of things. And let me say this too, because I really want to say that in her response and some of the things that she's saying, Piers Morgan being that kind of media personality to where he likes to push a button and carrying on and push an issue. Listening to that diatribe, it just seems as though he was trying to push an agenda as well. Okay, now how he feels about transgender in sports and this, that, and the other, blah 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 blah. This whole idea of with Justice Katanji going to for confirmation, and everybody's trying to say, well, she couldn't define what a woman is, and this, that, and the other, which is ridiculous. Okay, absolutely ridiculous. But uh, let's go there. Okay, I'm going to give you Big Meech's definition of what a woman is, and then we're going to have this discussion. Okay, a woman in my book and how my world revolves. A woman is anyone who stands in, exemplifies, lives by, and teaches, instructs, guide, mentors and structure of the people, children, anybody in their area, anyone who lives in the feminine, who have body parts and characteristics as breasts, hips, long hair, makeup, nails, and carrying on, anyone who lives in that space is a woman. Okay? Anyone who asks to be identified in that space is a woman. Okay? Now, what happens is this. Y'all want to take woman and equate that with female. Now, rightfully so for those of you who are heteroattractional and those of you who are older citizens and you grew up very traditionally, a woman is a woman, a girl is a girl, blah, 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 blah. I understand you completely. Okay? This is not to challenge you on that. This is not to say that you are wrong. What this is to say is that a woman, in my definition, is a person who exudes all of the characteristics that I've said, and they stand in it and they live in it on a 24-hour consistent basis. Okay? Now, as far as our trans community is concerned, our trans women, that there's males assigned at birth. Let me get the terminology correct. So y'all won't try to come from me. Those who are assigned at birth as male and yet have transitioned to where they identify, live, breathe, and everything as woman. Okay. Yes, you are a trans woman because you have altered and have transitioned your outside to match your mental and what you believe to be your insides. However, a trans person is not a biological female. A trans male is not a biological man. You understand me? And this is where we break this down. Everybody wants to believe that simply because you have transitioned, that there negates the fact that you are trans and not biologically male or female. Okay? That there becomes the argument. What Macy Gray said in her statement was, just because you have added on parts or changed parts does not make you, she says, a woman. I'm going to challenge her and say, no, it doesn't make you female. If you are a trans woman, just because you added parts or subtracted parts or this, that, and the other, it does not make you female. You understand? Your transitioning does not make you female. It makes you a woman. It makes you a woman. It doesn't make you female. And those who are biological females, or what they want, the term now is cisgender. I can't stand that word. Cisgender, those who are cisgender, okay, we cannot dispel their experience. We cannot negate who they are. We cannot sit down there and say that, oh, because I transitioned, I'm better than them. No, sweetheart, because your experience or your trans experience does not negate the fact that you are not female. Female have a certain entity and certain things that they are assigned to do in the general scheme of things, or how the church should say, in the natural order of things, okay, that a trans person cannot do. A trans person cannot do, okay? Now, I want to put some perspective on this because just like she said, Macy Gray, Macy said, just because you added parts or subtracted parts or whatever during your transit, that does not make you a woman or define you as a woman, okay? And now those are her words. I'm going to say it doesn't define you as female, because here's what it is. On the flip side of that coin, don't we tell women this all the time? Those who have to have hysterectomies, those who dealt with breast cancer have to have mastectomies and carrying on, and their breasts removed, and those who are barren and couldn't have children. We've always said those who have alopecia end up losing all of their hair, okay, eyebrows and carrying on. Those who have become burn victims, okay, and have been at the brunt end of domestic violence and carrying on. You know, we see that in the news and stuff constantly. Well, not constantly, on I'm gonna say on a basis where folks are telling their stories and how their spouses or boyfriends or significant others have harmed them and caught them on fire and doused them with gasoline and this, that, and the other. And so they have burned skin and this, that, and the third. Okay. Don't we tell women all the time that that doesn't make you a woman? Just because you've lost your breath, that you still a woman and this, that, and the other. And we comfort them to say just because you may have lost your breast, or maybe you may have had a hysterectomy, or because you may have some physical disfigurement or whatever, still you are the person that you are. You are still the woman that you were born to be. We do that. Why? To build the woman up, to build her spirits and let her know that these particular parts don't define you. Now we do that with not heterosexual, I'm gonna say biological. If we do that with biological women, then that got to hold true to trans women. Just because, darling, that you sat down here and you added and this, that, and the other, when you add and carry on, yes, that adds to your femininity, that adds to your believability, that adds to your passability, if you will, for those who are very pretty, for those who are very passable, for those who are not, and you feel as though this is who I am, because hey, there's a lot of women out there who have their father's features, okay, and that's, hey, very rough looking women out there and carrying on, but that doesn't negate the fact that they are still women. Okay, but in a trans experience, what we have to accept is that it makes you a woman, but it doesn't make you female. Okay, so because a cisgender biological woman sits down there and tells you, okay, and Macy said this, she said, I will respect you, I will call you what you want to be called. If you come to me and say that I want to be called she and my pronouns are she, her, and hers, and this, that, and the other, I will respect you and give you that. But she says, understand my point of view, that just because you've done all that doesn't make you, she says, woman. I'm going to say it doesn't make you female. It doesn't make you female. Makes you a woman, but it doesn't make you female. And those who are biological females are asking to stand in their space so that us saying accept us for who we are, and we got all this trans inclusive language, and now all this LGBT this and this, that, and the other of us wanting to be so inclusive. We've got to stop sitting up there fighting against the allies. Do you know we put up a wall so tough to where, hell, what we claim that we're fighting for, the oppressed is becoming the oppressor? Do y'all get that? Every time that we're sitting there doing some bullshit and trying to make a point, we end up creating more walls, okay? A bigger wall that Agent Orange couldn't build. We building the damn walls, and we're pushing folks away from us, which is why we're having a difficult time with our equity within mainstream culture. Okay, because every time that we make steps, we end up doing some shit that's going to sit down and it throws a monkey wrench into everything. What about what Macy Gray said, or even Bette Midler, because I'm going to get on her in a second. What is it that she said that was transphobic? What she said was biology. What she said was what she said. Because you have transition, it makes you a woman, it doesn't make you female. Boom. That's the part that you have. I don't care if you had SRS surgery or not. It doesn't make you female. You understand? It makes you a woman all day. We'll celebrate your womanhood all day. We'll celebrate your womanhood, trans woman. And we have not, and my trans men out there, this has not become an issue for you in the mainstream culture. I'm sure that you deal with a lot of what your own struggles are with your transitioning and carrying on. However, it's our trans women that a lot of children end up having a disarray with and upset with, because all mainstream culture sees is this was a man wanting to be a woman or feel like he a woman. Okay. And so now we got all this, oh my God, that's not fair. You were born a man, you got 27 more muscles than a woman, and blah, 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 blah. See, trans women got to deal with all of that. Okay, how unfair this is, or how unfair that is, and this, that, and the other. When right now, the trans community is trying to build their equity and trying to get into spaces where it's like, okay, yes, treat me as a woman. Okay, but what you got to stop doing is stop acting as if females don't have to, are not supposed to acquire that space, or that because you're in that space, that now you trump them. Mm-mm. We got to stop playing these little cards like that, child. The space is supposed to be where we interlock. Okay, we're supposed to be like a puzzle piece. It's supposed to fit. Okay, it's supposed to fit. If you sit up there doing square pegs, honey, and round circles, baby, that ain't working. And that's what we have here. Bette Midler sat up there and she says that women are being erased. Now, a lot of her comments come on the background or the foreground or whatever, whatever direction. It's coming after the Roe v. Wade overturn, okay? And now, all of the steps that women have taken in order to get their equity, she said women are being erased. And when she said we're not even called women anymore, we're called birther. Wait a minute, I'm trying to think what she said because it's all on Twitter. Birther whatever. That she said women, people with vaginas and whatever the hell these terms are. Is why have we gotten so fucking difficult to where we can't call a woman? Huh? Why is that so difficult? And then the children who came for her saying that she was using trans inclusive language in her statement. She's like, damn it. Okay, I didn't even know that was supposed to be the trans inclusive language. But for the last 60 years, I have been on the forefront for the community. Bette Midler got her damn career started with the gay children, honey. Bette Midler was the one who turned Patti LaBelle on to singing in the bathhouses for the gay children. Okay? They made her. She built an entire fortress around inclusion. An entire fortress. Okay? Now, there was some controversy one time about her disdainment about drag queens or whatever, because she's like, listen, I worked so hard to build my image. And then all of a sudden, someone could just, use my image and create or whatever. And I think she has changed her mind since then, because that was early. That was like in the late 80s, early 90s when I first heard that. And I think since then, she has changed her mind on that particular stance. However, okay, she has been on the forefront for rainbow rights, honey. Okay. And yet, because she said this, everybody want to call her transphobic, which is ridiculous. Why is it that we as alphabet children are quick to use any kind of phobia when we run up against somebody who disagree with what we're saying? Now, people can disagree. It doesn't, just because someone disagrees with you or does not share the same opinion, okay, does not necessarily mean that they are homophobic or this, that, and the other. They just may not like it. Ain't nobody scared. See, phobia, here's where this is. The term phobia it's a suffix. That's the prefix and suffix. The suffix phobia, okay, means afraid. Homophobia, transphobia, Afrocentric phobia. Okay. Yeah, I heard that one. Okay. Nobody is scared of shit. Okay, they're not scared. Not of the mechanics of it all. They may disagree with it, they may dislike it. They may have a strong hatred for it, but no one is scared of it. Okay, what they are is they disagree, and they may come from a place where it may be crass, disheartening, disrespectful even, and those are the children that you put in check and be like, listen, you can be all of those things, but what you're going to do is respect me as a person, as another human being. We don't have to agree, but we must learn how to coexist. Even if that means that our paths don't cross. If it means that you stay over there, I stay over here, okay, and carrying on. I don't have to wave at you when I'm at the store or whatever, bitch. We could be two ships in the night, just passing on by, going about our merry little way. But we must learn how to coexist. Why is it that every time we hear language that you think you don't agree with, someone got to be fucking phobic? Particularly with us as alphabet children, I'm so tired of hearing that. When it becomes phobic is when the slurs become that way. When they start getting to the point where they start to attack and the words that they use are piercing and they're going for your character and they're demeaning you and ostracizing you and criticizing you in ways that destroys you, that there is when you can sit up there and say that it's phobic. But because someone disagrees with you and have a sense of, well, this is my stance or something, how come we are having our stances and we always saying, you know what, well, this is my story and I'm the same person and this is who I am and I just need somebody to understand me. Okay. But if you need somebody to understand you, then we've got to understand them. Now here's where the slippery slope is. For those of you who don't understand this part of it, oftentimes because it has taken us so many years to get to a point where we can stand in our truth, we have been abused and beat down for years with all of the heteronormatives or whatever of the world that you say is supposed to be the right thing to do. But yet the right thing to do has so many flaws in it, child. Divorce rates, honey, before same-sex marriage was legal, divorce rates, honey, were a disaster. 50% of marriages end in divorce. You know, folks are cheating. You can't be in solid relationships because every time you turn around, many of us have grown up in households where somebody cheated on somebody. Okay, spousal abuse and women, you know, looking at what's supposed to be normal. Women have been fighting for equality and carrying on equal pay, equal this for centuries. Okay, so it's not like what you claim as normal is supposed to be better. And this, that, and the other. It's just that we have been browbeat so long that when we stand in our truth, oftentimes us standing there means that we're fighting for our voice to be heard. You understand? But now that we got some traction, what we have to do is learn how to sit to the table to have a dialogue. Because now instead of fighting to be heard, what has become the dialogue now is everybody trying to fight and talk to be right. And that there is not what this is, children. Why? How come everybody can't be right at the same time? Because sometimes that happens. Everybody may be right and just seeing it from a different viewpoint. Because my journey is not your journey. And let me tell you this, and let me show y'all this, and this is what I mean. Okay? When we talk about this thing called woman, okay, what is a woman? Okay? Is she a woman? Huh? Is she a woman? That there is Samantha Stevens' divinity. Okay? She is a character that I have created. Okay? I perform. All right? So loosely, because I dress up in women's clothing and wear makeup and hair and this, that, and the other, okay, loosely, I am under the trans umbrella, okay? Because trans means to change. And okay, so but I don't live my life that way. Samantha Stevens' divinity is a character. When I call her and when I'm up in Geesh, as we call it or whatever, yes, treat me as a woman because that's the character that I'm in. But Samantha has a time limit because those pumps come off, my damn titty pads or whatever, I throw up the audience and things. You see, I'm bald for a reason. My hair gets to sweating and carrying on. Samantha has a time limit. I don't live my life that way. Okay? As far as me being a gay man, because I'm not the most masculine, my pronouns are all of them. I love when Flame Monroe say he, she, we. I don't necessarily want to steal that from her because that's hers. But at the same time, I'm all of the above. That's what I am. I'm all of the above. Call me what you will, long as you respect me. You understand? Long as you respect me, because trust me, some asshole will say something stupid and they'll get checked because you're not going to address me like that. You understand? But I'm put that picture up there to say this. Just because I don't exude all of that on a 24/7 basis. I identify as a man. I love being a man. Okay, I was born a male. I adore being a male. However, I'm not the most masculine. So I've come comfortable with my femininity. So you can call me girl all you want to. I call myself girl. Okay, but that's me. Okay, but because I put on hair and makeup and carrying on, I could be a woman all day. I'm not female. I don't live my life that way. You understand? And just because we have all those additions does not mean this, that, and the other. For my trans women who live this experience, and this is why I want you to understand, those who live this experience, those who say, I am trans, I am not a gay man, I am not a boy in a dress or whatever, I am a woman. Okay, I didn't mean to do that. For those who live this experience, okay, and those who live in that particular space, okay, we must understand trans does not equal biological. If you are a trans woman, that does not mean that you are female. You are a woman, never female. If you are a trans man, you are a man. You are never a male. Yeah, does that make sense? And that there is where we are. So folks are not transphobic because they said they're to point those obvious traits out. You understand? And now, I've said this before in a training years ago, and I said this because trans women still have prostates, honey. Now, I don't know about the biology of how all that is once you start hormone treatments and carrying on, but I do know this, that after a certain age, you still got to go get checked for prostate cancer, honey. Females don't have prostates. You can do all this with your Adam's apple, honey, but you still got to go ahead. You still got to go and get that prostate checked. Okay? Trans men, you still got to go make sure that all of your fallopian tubes are carrying on, that you don't have cervical cancer and this, that, and the third. You still have to go do that. I don't care how much or whatever, unless you had SRS. Now, again, I'm loosely saying this out loud because I'm not exact on the science. I do know those things have to happen until y'all get to a certain point, whatever that point is. I'm unaware. I'm sure who's ever watching this, if you are of trans experience, you're going to educate me in a way of trying to let me have it. I'm gonna say, don't come from me, because I'm telling you now, I don't want to hear the bullshit. If you're gonna educate, but don't get nickel slick with the bullshit. Okay? Because what this is us trying to have a strong foundation and not this goddamn sink and sand shit that we've been doing. And as a gay man, what I'm tired of having to defend bullshit like this because motherfuckers are always trying to make a goddamn point. I'm sick of the white gay children always out there on the front line trying to tell black folks how this is the same thing coming from a white mouth and you don't have that motherfucking experience. I'm tired of trans children saying that don't nobody care, don't nobody understand us, when bitch, as a gay man, I understand exactly what this is. And as an ally, bitch, you making it tough for me to fight for your ass when every time we turn around, somebody throwing daggers and shit, and now we got to sit up here, I got to put on my Wonder Woman bracelets and shit to go deflecting bullshit because it's bullshit. We got to learn how to fight the right way. Fight the motherfucking right way and stop all this old craziness out here, because now it starts to look like that we don't know what the fuck we talking about. It starts to look like we have this agenda that everybody keeps talking about. We got to come to this table the right way, children. Come at it the right way. Now, if you did not like what was said, just say that I didn't like what was said. It wasn't transphobic what Macy Gray said. And as a biological female, how come she don't have the right to say that? Regardless of how she feels. But she gave you your respect. She said, but I respect you because if you want to be called that, then fine. So be it. But just because you have those parts don't make you this. And again, I'm correcting her in my way by saying, I believe the argument is it doesn't make you female. It can make you woman all day. It will not make you female. And even though you can change your identity marker on your driver's license and carry it on, and I wish they would do that because they really need to put down T so that folks will understand M, F, or T, and T being trans, so that it's understandable, so that we can have our own language. Because see, if you put down female on there, then everybody's going to think this is where it becomes, oh, you trying to trick somebody. No, no. Ain't nobody trying to trick anybody, but the laws are in such a way to where there's no room for the expansion of what we're dealing with. Because for years, nobody wanted to deal with this particular issue. Well, now that it's here, we have to deal with it in such a way that's going to make sense. Trans is trans. It is never the biological this. Okay? You were assigned at birth, and then you transition. Okay, so that means what was at birth, honey? Your sex at birth is your sex at birth, not your gender. You transgendered, right? So your sex is still your sex in a biological sense, and that's what the straight children are trying to say, and they're trying to get that. They're trying to get that across. And we, as the alphabet children, we have to allow that to be. There's just certain truths that's just truths, honey. I don't care how you run from it. I don't care what it is. Certain truths are certain truths. That's why truth stands alone. I say in my book, Awakenings, Epiphanies Along the Spiritual Journey, honey, that truth is a bad bitch. Okay? She has no colors, no flavors, or no motherfucking junky stuff. And the best thing about truth is she'll let you go through all your little bullshit, but at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, she's going to be waiting at the finish line with open arms, because she know eventually you're going to turn right back to her, and she's going to be there to embrace you with open arms, because truth is a bad bitch. Okay? So let's deal with the truth of the matter and stop trying to interject your personal truths and your personal constitutions into the universals. Your personal truths and your personal constitutions are what aligns your journey. You understand? This is why everything is independently different and unique. Because what works for you doesn't work for Joe Blow. Don't work for me. Doesn't work. It works. This is how you maintain your life and how you navigate your journey. So let us stop trying to interject personal truths into the universal collective in a way that you're trying to get everybody to accept it as a universal. That is where this is. And a lot of folks, that's where the resentment comes from. You understand? Now, we do have a lot of closed-minded individuals who don't want to see the broader picture to allow personal truths to have a place. You understand? Because they're so busy with the universals to where they become abstract and trying to sit up there and live in black and white. They forget that there's gray and there's also color. Okay? And everything is not as cut and dry as they make it sound to be. You understand? Life has never been. But at the same time, we, as the alphabet children, have got to stop building walls when we don't need to. This whole thing, we are wrong for saying that those children were transphobic because they said what they said. That ain't being transphobic, baby. That's not being transphobic. That there is not being transphobic. And again, with Bette Midler, y'all better go check her record. How in the hell would she flip the script after all this time? She has been an ally like she said, 60 years. 60 years she has been on this plane with us. She's been at the parade. She does been this. Honey. Now all of a sudden, girl, if y'all don't quit y'all motherfucking bullshit, that's what it is. Okay, that's what this thing is. That's what this is, children. We got to fight and fight right and fight fair and stop throwing this damn phobia line around and this, that, and the other, because it's now becoming political talking points. This has become a political game. It has nothing to do with anything. Now we're all about just bickering, and it's unnecessary. Macy Gray, Bette Midler, I stand in solidarity with you. I stand by what you said. Whether I agree with it or not is irrelevant. I stand behind you because I don't see you as making any kind of threat to us as a community. As biological women, you said what you said because you're fighting for your right as a woman, like you've been doing all this time. The women's rights movement is still up for grabs, and especially now that they done overturn Roe v. Wade. Now, women's rights and reproductive rights and everything are on the forefront. And now the trans children, this is where you need to come together and be solidified. Because, bitch, if they telling a biological woman, what to do with her body and that she cannot have an abortion, and y'all trying to tell her what to do with her womb, what the fuck they gonna tell you when you're trying to transition to create at least a vagina? Because you can't create the womb, man. You could get a puss, but you can't get no womb. Okay? So if they're telling biological women that, what the fuck they think they telling trans women? And you want to say somebody is transphobic because she said they're trying to erase women. Bitch, if they try to erase women, that means that women won't be able to do what they need to do. Hello? Hello? Okay. All right, that's my soapbox, honey. Big Meach. And this here has been a Big Meach moment. I'll see you guys next time, okay?